Hi, everyone, and welcome into the show. We have a full lineup for you today, lots of topics, and a special guest. Maria Ferrante is joining us once again. So, what's on deck? 10 strategies for managing an extremely heavy workload. I don't know one of these that we couldn't put to good use, probably now and with our teams. Angela's going to talk about moving workouts outside. Jim's going to talk about some methods for getting a good night's rest. There seems to be a common theme with Jim the last couple of weeks. Hopefully he's getting some good rest these days. And Maria's going to join us with mindfulness and using a technique called Stop, Challenge, and Choose. All of that and more on today's show. Let's get started.
Welcome to your Healthy by Association Weekly Wellness Check with Aaron Walloway, Angela Pelk, and Jim Thompson.
I was just watching that open and just recognizing how sweaty each of us look in our photos. A little more cleaned up for today's show, but I think we have some sweaty workouts on the horizon this weekend, particularly if we're going to move them outside. But in the meantime, welcome to Healthy by Association, everyone. My name is Aaron Wallach. We're excited to start the show this week. It is Friday, May 14th. Hard to believe that we're almost 5 whole months into this year, and we're just so grateful that you're joining us. Our special guest today is Maria, as I shared during that opening. And Maria, we just want to welcome you to the show. Tell us a little bit about yourself, kind of your role within your association, as well as your connection to health and wellness.
Sure. I'm really glad to be here. I'm Maria Ferrante. I work with the association PMMI, the Association for Packaging and Processing Technologies. I work in marketing. And in terms of health and wellness, actually, I have my own weight loss journey. I've lost over 140 pounds in the last couple of years, and I am now a certified health coach. So my passion is really helping others achieve those kind of success with weight loss and just health in general.
Well, we're so excited to have you, and you have a connection with one of our panelists. You and Jim both have a sunburn. Jim, we're going to check in with you. First, tell us a little bit more about why we see some peeling going on the top of your head, and just tell us how in the heck you are this week on that scale from 1 to 10.
Oh, gosh. So as you remember from last episode, I did St. Baldrick's, and normally I do the event in March, which is normally cold, so I'm always wearing headgear, even when I'm outside, whatever. And so had a soccer tournament last weekend and was outside both days, and it was gorgeous, and completely forgot to wear a hat. The importance of wearing sunscreen. I guess check-in this week, I would say probably about a 7. Doing pretty good. Just still having some challenges with the sleep thing, but been glad to be able to get out and do some running, and went out and worked out on Thursday with my F3 folks, which was nice to get out and do that. Looking forward to some working out this weekend too. So.
Awesome. Well, it's good to see you. And the importance of sun care and bald head covering, my friend. I said, as we were getting ready for the show today, it sort of happens once and then you never forget.
That's right.
Folks make fun of me, but I swear to you, I swear by the 50 plus SPF, particularly on my head and face, because that sun is no joke. And you just never know, even when it's overcast outside, how much it's going to beat down and affect you. But it's great to see you. I'm glad you're having a good week. I want to remind our viewers that we are in that sort of weekly wellness check period of the show where we just ask you to maybe not judge, blame, shame, or attack yourself, but just to kind of be aware on a scale from 1 to 10 where you're at in that health and wellness journey. If you're joining us live, we would love for you to share in the chat. But Angela, I want to welcome you to the show and check in with you as well.
Hello, HBA folks. I don't know. I guess I'm going to give myself a 6.9 this week. I'm hanging in there, I guess. I've walked. I've walked every day this week. I walked Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, twice yesterday. I didn't walk today, but I'm working tonight. So I ended up working last weekend, and I ended the day with like 19,000 steps. So, work has been busy. Yeah, it's been really busy. It's been really crazy. We're just pitching in where we can, outside of sports commitments and all of that stuff. So I'm figuring on getting my steps in tonight, which is good. Food's been good. I did a nice grocery shop last night, and so I have a few things to prep. Tomorrow I should have the day off, and then more sports all weekend. I've turned into a pretty good laundress. Shout spray has been my friend, and so we're just trying to keep up on all the things as my son winds down his 7th grade school year.
Oh, wow,
that's awesome. Well, I didn't realize that we were doing fractions of points, but I appreciate us bending the rules, Angela.
I'm a trendsetter, Aaron.
Maria, in a moment. Yeah. I'll come to you, Maria, in a moment for your check-in. But just quickly, my check-in for this week. I am flying pretty darn high. I would say that if we're using fractions of points here, I'm going to say that I'm at a 9.5. I think that in terms of eating and water, movement, walking, sort of adherence to kind of my meal prepping and planning and eating and portion sizes. I'm getting a massage later today, and I'm officially at my 2-week post-second vaccine mark. And so I don't know, I just feel like firing on all cylinders today. Little health issue that I mentioned last week has all cleared up as well, and all of that antibiotic is done. So I don't know, I just feel really good. So excited to be here, and excited just to be having a good sort of health week. Maria, how about you? Where do you kind of fall on that scale from 1 to 10, and why?
Sure, I would say maybe about an 8. I'm feeling really good. Been dialing in on my workouts every day, pretty much. As I was saying, my sunburn is due to a hiking trip I had with my son. We did some pretty serious hiking for 3 days. So I'm feeling really good about that. So I'm feeling really, really good right now, and all's kind of going well.
Great. Well, again, it's great to see you. We're going to jump into our lead story, 10 strategies for managing an extremely heavy workload. I often like us to think about our health and wellness, particularly as it relates to how we show up and how we navigate our work environments, either individually as part of a team with our members and volunteers, as part of our board, or others that we are engaging with. This is an article posted to the Member Suite website, and I'll share it, of course, after today's episode. There are 10 strategies here. I'm just going to briefly call them out. And panelists, I just want you to be listening to kind of the one that most resonates with you, and maybe you'll share with us why. Sort of a happy, serendipitous connection to this post is that number one way to manage an extremely heavy workload is to find people who lift you up. And they actually tag healthy by association in this post. And so it's just a sort of happy circumstance that be the case. But certainly want to think about, envision the people that lift you up at work, or who support you personally in your work life. Number 2 is to prioritize self-care. Number 3, to practice mindfulness to get out of negative thought patterns. Number 4 is to reframe the bad stuff. Number 5 is to build motivators into your life. Number 6 is just to have some self-compassion and to know that things are going to happen in the workplace and we shouldn't beat ourselves up over those. Number 7 is to ask your boss to prioritize, or to help you prioritize. Number 8 is to manage the mess better. So if any of you have those messy workspaces, maybe you can clean those up, straighten them up, organize them a little bit to support your sort of stress in the workplace. Number 9 is to run more efficient meetings. It could have been an email. And number 10 is to get coping strategies from your network, really just reach out from your support network to help you out. And so, as I scroll through these, one of them that jumps out, I don't know if it's the one for me, but one of them that jumps out for me is just to ask your boss to reprioritize. And I think whether it's your boss, whether it's your team, just the ability to have sort of an open and honest conversation about what exactly is on your plate. Sometimes I think we prioritize for ourselves based upon expectations that we think are being placed upon us, and they don't always align with the expectations that others have around us. And so just having this open and honest conversation, dialogue around, here are the things that I think that I'm supposed to be working on. What is a priority for you or for our team? And realizing in that moment that the things that you have been so stressed out about maybe aren't stress worthy or aren't necessarily a priority for everyone else. And so I just think that's one that for me that stands out, and one that I would encourage folks to think about, having those healthy conversations around feedback, around prioritization, around expectations, I think are just so important, and something we don't necessarily lean into all the time because they're uncomfortable for us, or they can be uncomfortable for us sometimes. So with that, I see Angela a head nod. I'll come to you next. I'm just kind of curious, knowing that you are, you and your family are really getting back to this busy time in the restaurant.
Yeah.
What's something that stands out to you here about how to manage extremely heavy workloads and stress?
Well, the thought I had while you were talking about, go to your boss and ask for help when prioritizing was, what if you're the boss? Self? What can I do? So, I mean, but prioritizing is extremely important. I just know that Scott's got like a laundry list of stuff that, that I'm trying to jump in and help him with things that I can. But a lot of it's, to support these loans that we've gotten or grants that we're trying to apply for, sort of like providing all that documentation and recreating some of the things. So that hit home. I was like, but then what? But one that I really liked was the one about managing the mess better. And I think, especially with so many of us working in our home environment, and I know you've talked about it a lot before, Aaron, too, is, just having that separated space where work can be, put away, or, when you're having leisure time outside of, the set hours that you have to work. I don't know that that's possible for everyone in everyone's living space and working space, but I thought that was really cool. I stepped into a friend's home yesterday and she showed me where she had her son set up to virtual school and where her home office was. And, it's just, it's crazy how we have to, it's sort of this all blended thing right now. But if you can manage that part of the mess, that may help you, alleviate it when you're not staring it down, when you're trying to relax with a, glass of bourbon on after work hours,
Absolutely. Maria, how about you? What stands out to you from this list and why?
I would actually say kind of the people who lift us up. I think that's really important. And so one of the things that, I find is community is so important in dealing with all the things that we have to kind of navigate through our lives, and really kind of finding a community that aligns with your goals, whether it be at your workplace or an online community or something like that. Just having that community to be able to share and just be able to kind of navigate those stressful times with. I think that really helps you, and just keeping you positive, keeping you just feeling good about where you're going, what you're doing, what your choices are. I think those are really important things. And that's something that in my practice, my coaching practice, we always talk about the idea of developing a community of like-minded people, so that you're kind of always, having those around you that are respecting your goals and kind of with you on that. So.
Yeah, that's awesome. And I just want to remind folks that we kicked off this week in the Healthy by Association Facebook community our Rejuvenated accountability and mentorship program. So for those that are really looking for a support network that's even a little more detailed, a little more, I don't want to say aggressive, but just sort of more active with you and really understanding your individual and unique goals and expectations. And certainly there are a community of folks who are not only wanting to be that for you, but for you to be that for them. So if you are interested in being involved, check that Facebook post out and sign up in a quick little form, and we'll be sure to match you with somebody who we think might be a good fit for the goals that you want to set for yourself. But with that, Jim, I'll turn to you for some final thoughts on which of these sort of 10 strategies stands out to you. I know that you and your team have an extremely heavy workload, and I'm sure one or more of these tasks or strategies are probably a great idea to infuse to your team.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, and it was kind of interesting as we were talking, three of the items I think really kind of resonated to me together because they're kind of, I feel like, fall in the same category. It's really just around how you deal with negative issues and negative thoughts and just getting yourself caught up in those kind of things. So I know it's so easy for me to, as somebody who's managing multiple groups with multiple meetings that are going down the road, is to be, worrying about things that are happening out in the future that really you don't have any control over now. So really kind of practicing that, just I guess it kind of going with what, I know Maria was talking a little bit about with the mindfulness piece, but, really, using some practices to not worry about those things and, reframing bad things that happen. And of course, last but not least, giving yourself a break. I mean, having some, having some self-compassion for yourself to not beat yourself up when things don't quite go the way you want them to. Because it's easy to get wrapped up in that.
Yeah, it's interesting that you bring that forward. I had a little bit of that this week. Just, not anything in particular, but just some like negative thoughts about, am I doing enough? Should I be doing more? How else can I support folks? I don't know. It just, I get into this space every once in a while. And I was in that space this week. And I think to your point, and to the point of this post, just kind of really living in the here and now, thinking about what you have, what you're grateful for, what you can do, where you can be helpful and supportive to others. And I think awareness is part of that, and identifying actions are another part. And sometimes stepping away from work, and even though it's mid-work day, maybe you just need to get out and walk around the block or listen to your favorite song, or whatever it is, just having sort of a go-to idea that will bring you back to that moment and to reconnect you to the good parts of work or your life or your personal relationships or whatever it is. I think it's only natural for us to fall into those spaces from time to time. Half of that equation is about being aware that those things happen. The other half is just having good strategies and tactics for dealing with them. So with that, Angela, I know that it's getting warmer outside, certainly in Michigan. We've had our fair share here in Texas of the ups and downs of the temperature. We're getting closer to the 80 degrees. Jim, on our production team, certainly has it warm in Florida as well, and we're moving our workouts outside. So what can you tell us about that, and what has that looked like for you?
Well, I just remember some of my favorite workouts, and y'all know I'm a Beachbody gal, but you can get workouts anywhere on your mobile device, right? YouTube's got like hours and hours and hours worth of whatever you like to do: dance, yoga, cardio, even weightlifting or stretching, or just really anything that you're into. I think you can get a video for. And these things that don't take up a lot of equipment, that don't require a lot of equipment. I'm not saying, move your whole weight set out into your backyard or driveway, but, I think it's kind of fun to take your workout outside. I remember some of my favorite workouts have been in the backyard with the sun shining down. I get a lot of really good sunshine in the morning, like pre-11 o'clock, before it starts to hitch over the house. And, I just set up my tablet on the table and pop in headphones. I don't know if you've ever done like a workout where it's just right in your ear, even if it's just a cardio workout, or I've been doing some running, guided running, and just having that trainer right in your ear, I think makes a big difference. So if you need like a little bit of freshness in your workout routine, if there's a workout that you're doing or that you have been doing that you doesn't require equipment you can take outside. Don't forget the sunscreen. But I think it would be nice to, just like plug in headphones and take it outside. I have Bluetooth headphones, and I just think it's just a nice change of scenery, I think, if nothing else. So get your workout outside. You can do it.
Well, and I would just add to that. I think if you are still working from home, taking it outside, maybe not even for the whole workday, but for like part of the workday. What does it look like to either take a Zoom call outside or write an article or a report outside, or whatever you need to do? Just finding time in your backyard or front yard, finding a space at a park or someplace where you can just kind of get a change of scenery and some fresh air. I think it makes a big difference. Mm-hmm. Speaking of a big difference, Jim, you have brought forward again this week this topic around sleep. I feel as though Angela and I are going to road trip it to your house and sprinkle some sleeping dust on some lavender to make sure you get a good night's rest. Yeah,
whatever it takes.
Tell us what you've been experimenting with and if you found something that's worked for you.
Well, so I feel like I'm just like going through all these different things. Like, the big thing is I'm trying to avoid like a lot of people who have issues with like insomnia and things like that, is avoiding medication. But I'm trying to do stuff naturally that's at least not going to be, I don't know. I'm one of those people that I just don't like taking medicine. So if I can avoid it, I'm trying it. So, but no, I was doing some reading on this whole idea of this cognitive behavioral therapy around sleeping and how you do those kind of things. And, there was some really interesting things about, making sure you create a nightly routine, turning off electronics. And that we always talk about this, but it's one of those things that I'm so bad about sometimes. And, maybe that could have something to do with it. But I think the big things are, along the areas of, looking at meditation, looking at one of the things that I think has probably been sort of a downfall for me too, is I think we sort of, if you're having trouble sleeping, sometimes the worst thing you can do is just sit there and just lay in bed. And so you now you sort of associate your sleeping area with not being able to sleep. So, I was reading something about that, about how, if you've been in bed for 30 minutes and you haven't been able to fall asleep yet, the best thing to do is actually just get up and go do something, like, whether it's drawing or journaling or coloring or something, something obviously not electronic. But, just to, meditate, listen to something relaxing until you feel yourself starting to fall asleep again or getting, more tired, and then go back and try it again. So I guess there's just so many different things that I've been kind of playing around with, and, hopefully one of these days something's going to click. So.
Well, I guess Sandman was the phrase that I was looking for that I couldn't quite put my finger on earlier. But one of the techniques that I think I got from a Calm app, if I'm not mistaken, a while back, it was sort of one of those, like, you wake up in the middle of the night and you can go into the app, and it was a guided meditation that encouraged you to envision yourself in like a little rowboat, laying down, looking up at the stars in the middle of a lake, a calm lake, just listening to sort of the sounds around you, and just sort of imagine yourself there. And to be honest, it has worked really well for me, and I do use it from time to time still. What I do know is that my default when I wake up, like 3 or 4 o'clock, is my golden hour where I normally wake up. And I have a bad habit of putting one AirPod in and listening to like a show. And I know that in my subconscious, it sort of is there for the next 2 hours while I try to sleep and until the alarm goes off. It's the worst. I wake up feeling very restless and not well rested. So I know that to the extent that I can avoid that at all costs, the better. And that's one of the techniques that I have found helpful for me when I can't sleep. Mm-hmm. But Maria, I want to come back to you with our final topic for today, this mindfulness and using a technique that you call Stop, Challenge, and Choose. And I would love to hear more about that.
Sure. I'd love to share that, your health is determined by the choices that you make. And it's really important to align our choices with our goals. Whether it be, whether your goal be weight loss or improved health or, exercising more, whatever those goals might be. So when something comes up, like a challenge to those goals comes up. For example, if you're trying to lose weight and you're at a birthday party or something for a friend and they bring out a chocolate cake and you're like, oh gosh, what do I do? Do I eat this cake? It's going to kind of derail um, my goal of weight loss. And you kind of oftentimes get a little bit stressed about it. So this idea of there's this technique, as I said, called stop, challenge, and choose. And it kind of allows you, it's a very simple concept, but a really powerful one, I think. And it just kind of allows you to take a minute. So you would just, as they're bringing out this cake and you're thinking, oh gosh, what do I do here? Just take a minute, take a breath, drink a glass of water, whatever it is, just stop yourself and challenge it. What am I really hungry for? Do I really want this cake? Is it going to help me? Is it going to hurt me? Is it going to help me reach my goals? Whatever. And then once you kind of have that thought process to yourself, then you make a choice. And you can choose either to have the cake and you say, you know what, I'm here, I'm celebrating my friend, I'm good with it. I know it might slow down my weight loss, but I'm going to have, that cake, maybe only a couple bites of it, but I'm going to have it. Or you can choose to not have it and say, you know what, I'm here, I'm celebrating with my friends. That's what's important. The cake is just, it's there, it's nice. I'm so glad that everybody's enjoying it. But I'm good with saying no, thank you this time. And it really just kind of allows you to get out of that deprivation mindset of like, oh my gosh, I can't have this, I'm on a diet, and kind of get out of that mindset and get more into just mindfully making a choice and being more present and feeling good about the choice that you do end up making. So again, it's a really simple concept that I feel can be really powerful.
Well, and I think just a couple of things that I want to highlight here is that I think that stopping is probably certainly it has to happen first. And it's probably one of the most important parts of that mantra because we live in such a now and immediate and, just fast-paced society that we don't often take the time to stop and think. We just kind of do. We want it, so we have it. So I appreciate that. I also just want to lift up this idea around choice, that we always have choices, whether it's about working out or not working out, or eating it or not eating it, or drinking our water, or meditating, or whatever the case may be. All of these things are a choice, and really sort of reconnecting with ourselves, with our thought process, with our goals and expectations, with our, what we are striving to achieve, and really trying to figure out what aligns with that and what doesn't is so important. At the end of the day, my friend Lindsay Gross has said, and will say again, if you want the cookie, eat the cookie, but know that you want it before just kind of eating it, right? And that I share that with regard to food, but it's true with regard to everything, with regard to exercise or spirituality or something that's happening at work. These are true in all of these various environments. And so thank you for sharing that. I appreciate that mantra, and certainly one that I will come back to over the next couple of weeks as well. We are, of course, at time. 30 minutes goes by so fast, particularly when we have such an excellent guest as you, Maria. If folks want to get in touch with you, what's a good way to do so?
You can find me on Facebook, Maria Ferrante, Health Coach. And if anybody's interested, I do have a little ebook I can send on this particular Stop, Challenge, Choose. So just message me on Facebook, and I'm happy to send that on to anyone.
That's great. Thanks so much for doing that. Cool. I want to remind folks that we are opening up episodes for our Healthy by Association Weekly Wellness Check through December of 2021. We'll be sending out an email to our followers early next week for those who want to sign up. If that is you have a story to tell, a resource that you love, or something that you think our viewers should hear on health and wellness, we hope that you will join us during a future episode. In the meantime, this has been Healthy by Association. Until next time, please remember to power your life with health, wellness, and intention. We'll see you next week, everyone.